Let's talk a little bit about the shoulder anatomy before we get started. Typically when we say shoulder, most of the time we're talking about the ball and socket joint, which is your glenohumeral joint. So you got your humerus coming up, and then it goes into the socket part of the shoulder. Okay. So we get a lot of motion here at the shoulder, but also you get accessory movements from other joints. So when we talk about the shoulder, we're actually, the complex, we can actually be talking about 4 different joints. Okay? So we've got the glenohumeral joint, we've got your sternoclavicular joint. So everyone palpate their sternum. Okay? And now move over one side or the other and palpate your clavicle, or your collarbone. Palpate where those 2 bones meet. And now hold your fingers there and lift up that arm. You should feel some movement there. Do you feel movement there on the clavicle? Yeah? Okay, extend your arm back. You'll feel some more movement. So the clavicle kind of rolls a little bit. Presley just got her eye poked. You feel crepitus? Yeah?
All over.
Some of us probably will. Okay, so that extra movement helps with shoulder movement. Also, you have your AC joint, that's your acromioclavicular joint. You've got your shoulder blade or your scapula comes around, and then you've got your acromial process kind of on the top of your shoulder. So if you palpate your clavicle and move all the way over and then more on top, you'll feel a joint, and that's your AC joint. Now do some arm movements, palpate and do some arm movements there with that. I feel crepitus. Okay? Okay, and then the last joint is the scapulothoracic joint. That's going to be where your shoulder blade goes in contact with your ribs. So it's probably hard to palpate on yourself, but you could get a partner and palpate. Now just move your arm for me, Jonathan. And you can definitely feel that shoulder blade or that scapula moving. So just keep in mind when we say shoulder movement, you have 4 different joints that help contribute to that. And we're going to focus on the sternoclavicular joint right now. So I'm going to palpate. You can see it. You see the end of his clavicle right here? And what I'm going to do is just, we're going to look for like a sprain. So if we fall on an outstretched arm, the force can come through here and you can actually sprain this joint. I sprained this joint tubing, like out on the lake. My uncle's crazy and he threw us off. And so then mine still pops like every once in a while, it's just looser. But what you're going to do is push in on the clavicle, and you're actually going to also push inferior, so we're kind of pushing down. And I've also seen people do this where they'll put their thumb underneath and they'll push up too. So push in here. But you really want to help kind of stabilize them by pushing on their shoulder blade, and then you can push posterior, inferior, and maybe even up a little bit. And you're always going to compare bilaterally. So what would we be looking for with this?
Laxity.
Pain and laxity. Okay? And then the anatomical structures we haven't talked about. It's the sternoclavicular joint, the sternoclavicular ligament, which would be the ligament that attaches the sternum and the clavicle, and then the costoclavicular ligament. Can anyone tell me what that is? What's costal mean? Ribs. Okay, so your first rib comes right underneath the clavicle, so you have a ligament that holds that first rib and attaches it to the clavicle. So those are your involved structures. Okay.